I'm focusing on the Form 4 candidates this year, 2025 candidates. So if you're a candidate, stay put and let's discuss something from Fathers of Nations. I know you are going to cover a number of essays from this book, and that is why I really focus on it. So I'll be reading a question, then we will discuss how it should be answered. I normally just deal with one question at a time. So I'll be showing the question, then I'll proceed to discuss what the expectations are. Now I hope since we discussed variety of questions, including Fathers of Nations and a silent song, then you have actually known how to handle essay questions. Remember, if you have questions for Parliament of Alls or Artist of the Floating World, don't feel lost. I'll be discussing them very soon. Yeah, so welcome on board. I really request you to subscribe to my channel because through your subscriptions, it helps me to grow. It is because of you that I'm here. So let's go on and see the question that I'm going to ask you, and we'll be discussing part by part. Then I'll also show you the screen so that you actually internalize what is expected of you. So let's go. I'll flip the screen so that as I read the question, you are looking at it. So, of course, the question is here with you, and here it is. I've enlarged it so that you can read it for yourself. And as I read it, I'm just making sure that I read the correct wording. So, here it is. Can you actually see the question? The question reads, "There is hope even when things are at their worst time." Show how true this is in the context of Fathers of Nations by Paul Vita. The same question can be set as this: determination and optimism offer achievement. Using Fathers of Nations, show how true this statement is. Another way in which the same question can be set is, hope is the mother of all success and redemption in the world. Discuss this in a line of Fathers of Nations. So this question can be set in 3 different ways, and therefore you should be ready to handle it in whichever way. There is hope even when things are at the worst time. Or, determination and optimism offer achievement. Or, hope is the mother of all success and redemption in the world. So whichever way it is set, be sure that they're asking for the one thing that is same. So I'll flip back the screen to face me so that I discuss the question. Now, in this question, of course, we expect an introduction. We expect that you're going to explain the question, and as I told you, you can use a contextualized approach whereby you are bringing the text into question. You tell us something about the text in relation to the question, or you can actually use a paraphrased format whereby you look for the keywords in the question and use alternative words, the synonyms, to explain what you're going to handle. So listen to my introduction and you can choose to, to establish what kind of introduction I've used here. Now my introduction is this: Fathers of Nations shows how during critical challenges, one should not give up because there are opportunities for better life as long as we still are optimistic and strive for better moments, just as it happens to Professor Kimani, Pastor Chamaka, Comrade Nalusi, and Engineer Tahir. Now, mine is a merging of the contextualized and paraphrased introduction. I'll repeat. Fathers of Nations shows how, even during critical moments where we are facing challenges, we should not give up because there are opportunities for better life as long as we are optimistic and strive for better moments, just as it happens for Professor Kimani, Pastor Chamaka, Comrade Melusi, and Engineer Tahir. I hope you've got that introduction. So we can now go to the first paragraph of our essay. And of course, I expect that you have the topic sentences every time you start the paragraph. So listen to this and pay a lot of attention. And whenever you are writing essays, consider that. Now, the first paragraph. Kimani experiences the worst moments of desperation, jail, and poverty after the loss of a daughter. But his focus on having better life offers him an opportunity for a better life. Did you get that topic statement? Kimani experiences the worst moments of desperation, jail, and poverty after loss of a daughter, but his focus on having a better life offers him an opportunity for better life or experience. Now let's go to the evidence, what we call background information. Some people use other words, but it's all the same. Now the body, or rather background information goes as below. Welcome on board for those who are coming live. I'm really appreciative of your presence. Without you, then I wouldn't be doing the live. The live is meant for you as the audience. Thank you. So this is the background information of my paragraph. After Tuni is crushed in a road accident, Kimani and his wife are inconsolable. They mourn for 6 months. However, Asia drops the bomb by declaring that Walomo has asked her to marry her. She packs and leaves in the morning, regardless of Kimani having tried to make her stay. She blames him for the death of the daughter, referring to their poor financial situation. Kimani attacks Walomo in his office, and he is arrested, then charged with assault of the member of parliament. The university demotes him from a full professor to a senior lecturer. That is page 38. Of course, you know the demotion from professor to senior lecturer would have implication on his salary and his status. Remember, he came to the university and became very radical. He was very swift, fighting for excellence and making the institution swiftly go into changes that most of his comrades did not feel okay with that. Just when Kimani has come back from jail, Agda, through Third Longway, recruits him to represent teachers in the convention, and he gives a speech to all the African heads of states that teachers deserve respect. He stands before 50 heads of states, a situation he did not expect at all, after he has been sponsored by ACTA. He seeks success of Path Alpha, and so Path Alpha goes through. That is page 155. You can have a conclusive sentence just within that paragraph and say, indeed, hope gives achievement for Kimani. Did you get that? I hope you did. Now let's go to paragraph 2, and you will hear my topic sentence again. Then I'll give you a backing of background information, and we'll have the conclusive sentence within that. Chamaka experiences a hard time when the president puts him in jail, but there is home in Agda. Did you hear the topic sentence? Chamaka experiences a hard time when the president puts him in jail, but there is home in Agda. Or rather, you would say, hope comes through Agda. Let me give you the background information for that. Chamaka preaches in church about the president's public memo on the violence that has erupted. He says, as a president, it is incompetent to just write a memo advising the staff to treat the violence with caution because they are just recent events. He is picked by the police at dawn, and after the next 2 weeks, he is put in jail. He spends time with other prisoners in what he calls the rat-infested space. Indeed, every cloud has a silver lining, as shown in the situation in which Chamaka later, after experiencing the smelly inmates in jail, is freed, and he realizes that he has been banned from preaching. So he can no longer preach in Nigeria. Look at page 116 for that. Luckily, Agda, through Third Longway, comes for him, and he is recruited to represent those who are law in Nigeria. He longs to have Path Alpha win, and as he stands before the 50 heads of states, he campaigns for the success of Path Alpha. Path Alpha wins and gives Chamaka hope. Let's get to the third paragraph. Let's get to the third paragraph. I hope you're following. Comrade Melusi lives in a nightmare after the current president, in quotes, the bomber, after the current, somebody has just said, hi, Teresia Njau. Hi, how are you? I hope you're fine. So let me repeat the third paragraph. Okay. Ubed, I'm Ubed. Okay. It's right. So let me proceed with paragraph 3. Comrade Melusi lives in a nightmare after the current president, in quote, bomber of his country. Okay, thank you. If you've subscribed, Teresa Anja, welcome on board. This is a very interesting channel that we actually share academic, entertaining, reactions, and many other aspects that will actually make us live. Welcome on board, Teresa Njau. So let me proceed with the paragraph 3. Comrade Melusi lives a nightmare after the current president of his country makes him lose a family and business, but his hope is held in Agda. Melusi is a group leader whose everything is dismissed in claims of planning a coup against a government. Being an anti-government group, when eruptions emerge, there is a lot of humiliation that he faces alongside his people. Kukurahundi, Shona decides to revenge, and in the process of washing chaff so as to till the target, then the Ndebele suffer. Look at page 90 for details. Melusi comes from his business only to find Zijing. She has been strangled on the kitchen floor. Melusi is distraught. Melusi runs for presidency and loses as the opposition. Boma looks at him as a failure then, and he humiliates him after the inflation. Melusi relocates to the slum where he begins to run a business. Unfortunately, everything is run down by the government bulldozers. Melusi is almost disillusioned. He cannot even afford meals. As he meets Tad Longway in the hotel, he is quite distraught. Agda comes his way and gives him money and reduces the chances of embarrassment. The disillusioned individual has hope. Now he attends the summit. He is able to see his president, and he knows that at the end of the day he will revenge. He plans to shake the hands with the Zimbabwean president and tell him he doesn't know him. His hope is luckily met in Path Alpha, which wins. Even though he's not present to attend, he has had success. Let's now go to paragraph 4. This is how paragraph 4 goes. Engineer Tahir goes through a hard time when he loses his eye, and the company he works for is closed down, but his hope comes through Agda. After studying nuclear engineering, he is excited about Libyan leader who starts a project, Feast of Allah. This company produces the nuclear weapons. Later, the president gives up on the project when there is a bombing. Tahir also loses his eye, and since he had only learned to live in making weapons, he is desperate. He is so angry and disappointed with his president. He hates the man he once liked, and even as he takes Rahma to court, he aims to defend his culture. He turns restless, screams, shouts, and when he calms, he sinks into deep gloom that cannot shake off. Look at page 123 of Fathers of Nations. He also hates the artificial eye that is plugged into his eyeless socket, for it makes him a freak all his life. However, regardless of all the challenges, he is recruited by Agda, and he is able to go to the summit where the 50 heads of states are. He finally wins through Path Alpha, as his mission to fight against his president makes it through Path Alpha. Now let's come to the conclusive paragraph. This is how it should read. Overall, we learn that every cloud has a silver lining. When Kimani, Melusi, Tahir, and Chamaka, whose suffering comes to the end and they have success, happens in the text Fathers of Nations. So I'm very happy that so many people came on board. We have Teresa Njau who subscribed. We have Faith Odedeji who is sharing her sentiments here. Then we have Otbot. We have David Langat. and we have so many other people on board. Thank you for coming live. I'm so happy about your presence. You encourage me to keep creating content. I have different content that I create on this channel, educative, reactions, alongside others. Thank you and have a nice time.